your invasions every day. I haven't really heard many new players complain about it. Honestly, semi-experienced and veterans hunt. You talking about the crafting times? Sorry, man. I was like reading a bunch of and talking and I missed it. Yeah, I think that's true. I think most new players don't really even notice it, but I think that it's a quality of life thing that you should address, because as new players start to like breach out of, you know, that like 10-15 hours of gameplay, once they get into like hard mode, they're gonna start to notice it. Because I think that the crafting times become more of an issue once you get in hard mode and you start working on like your second character, not your first character. I think you get enough stuff going through the campaign and you figure stuff out and you're trying to like figure out what you're doing to probably make like one character at least pretty decent to follow a build guide. But it's when you start working on your second and your third character that you really start to notice the catalyst issue. But I think that, or like the crafting issue in general, I think that what you're bringing up is fair. It's definitely not a new player issue, and I think that that's why I think that you could do something as like simple, right? Is just open up the slots to where you can craft. You can craft more than 7 things, or just make it to where you can double and triple craft things. Like if you want to do like 4 fucking activators that are 28 hours a pop, you can just do them all at one time. You don't have to wait a week to do all 4 of them. But I completely understand the counterpoint you're making, and I think it's valid. Because I think that I think there's definitely a lot of issues that are manufactured by seasoned players that your average gamer's not going to see, and because your average gamer doesn't see it, the devs aren't going to pay attention to it, right? Because unless they see it affecting their bottom line, they're not going to pay attention to it. My fear is that players are going to check out before they see it affecting their bottom line, and I think you can kind of see that with player retention numbers, right? The game's just not retaining players like it probably should, and a lot of that I think comes from a lack of end game and some of the decisions you see once you're past, you know, your first like 30 or 40 hours. You're gonna run out of gold and have time grind. It's just gonna be a burnout. I mean, but that's the player's decision, right? Like the player's decision is to run out of those resources. I don't know. I mean, I guess you can look at it as 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. I mean, at the end of the day, there's definitely some type of issue when it comes to player retention, and I don't know if that issue is just a lack of in-game content or the lack of ability to build out your characters. I just don't get to see where their players are like dropping off for what reason, and I don't get to see the amount of hours players are dropping off at. But you're still here for your daily dose of Judge. I do what I can for you, or I mean, I think that people will come back. Like, right, I think we're gonna have some community members come back for alt Blair, and then they'll try alt Blair. They're gonna try the hard defense. And then they're probably going to step back out. Right? Like, that's probably what's going to happen, and the player base is going to retract again until June. I just don't see that I don't see anything really being added this update to like really bring players in. Content's problem right now. You're motivated by MR. Game will get boring. Look at something new. The same for a lot of people. Probably come back when there's a new season. I think that's what's going to happen, is I think there are people who have like invested time and they're interested in the game, and they'll come back when there's new content for them to play. But if the new content isn't enough for people to stick around and it is too casual focused, and trust me, I'm a big advocate for casual gamers. Obviously that's what I do. But I think if the content is too casual focused, what you're going to end up doing is your players will come back for alt Blair, and then they're going to come back for season 3. But if they feel like they can come back for season 3, they can play for like a couple weeks, get all the content, and then leave. That's what they're going to do, because that's what happens in Destiny 2, right? Like every game has that. It's just Destiny 2 has an audience of 10 years to build up people who are just die hard to play the game, right? That's the only reason Destiny 2's numbers don't go through the fucking floor. And I don't think there's anything unhealthy with that, and I think that's definitely part of gaming. I just think that ideally we want more player retention, and we want that bottom to be higher every time. We don't want that bottom to be lower every time. Isn't tedious, like resource heavy? I agree. I hope it's not terrible. The hardest part is going to be like, for me, I'll never notice. Right? For me, I'll never notice. And unless it's like a bottleneck on gold or something, because I have like 10 million, 20 million, 30 million of all resource. So I won't even notice if it's tedious because I just have so many resource that I won't even be able to sympathize with your average player who doesn't have the resources. Have I seen Marathon? Am I planning on trying it? I'll try it. I'll try Marathon. I really hope that the upgrade isn't too tedious though. I agree. I really do. I hope the upgrade isn't terrible. The game needs a better LFG. I think it needs a better LFG, but I think it needs content to LFG for at the same time. I think releasing a robust like LFG is a good idea, but I think that releasing a robust LFG at the same time they release new content that needs it will make it really sing, right? So the moment they release like a really good LFG, to be able to do hard content will make the LFG look like it needed to be there. Because right now, I mean, other than maybe like some certain levels of Void Erosion Purge that you can't do in a group because their fucking devs are then there's not really any need for it. And I don't really mean to say their devs are but like they're I got the idea of what they were trying to do with Purge, but then they stopped. So the idea was Purge was going to be hard, not leveling content. And it was going to gear you up to be able to do like whatever the extreme content they were coming with. Then they changed their mind and they made it leveling content, which is fine because it should have probably been leveling content the whole time. But when they made that like shift, they should have put matchmaking on all levels. And they decided that they weren't going to do that. They were only going to put matchmaking on the top 5 levels. So realistically, they need to go back and just put matchmaking on all the levels of Purge, and then that'll fix it. And then there's nothing in the game that you really need matchmaking for, because everything else can all be done with just public matchmaking. Game needs bosses that offer real progression and valuable loot, motivates players to engage. No, I mean, that was the thing, right? Like, that was the thing, Tim. Is when you look at games like Destiny 2 and shit, they have what I like to call aspirational content. They're content that you aspire to be able to beat and do because you get things for it. And this game needs some level of aspirational content. It just doesn't have it. So maybe at some point we'll get something, and I think that aspirational content goes a long way in making a game fun and viable long term. And I just think that if you don't have it, you're kind of fucked, right? Like, I just think that you have to have it at some point. So